Am I the a-hole for breaking my promise to my stepkids and abandoning and traumatizing them because I did not want to parent them anymore? I met Will when I was 22. Will was 29, with 2 kids and had newly been widowed. We had a whirlwind courtship where he introduced me to the kids and got me involved in their lives very early, first few days after I met him. Will said really quickly he was sure I was the one, not only for himself but also for his kids, that we would have an incredible, happy family life. We got married when I was 23. Will was 30, and his kids were 8 and 6. Our wedding ceremony also included me and the kids making promises to each other, which was Will's idea. Soon after, Will shoved all the childcare onto me. I wasn't the stay-at-home spouse. I worked full-time and always have, but he always had reasons for me to do the childcare. Him being sore from doing a physical job, me being better at it since I babysat kids this age in the past and he never had, or girl stuff for his daughter, or cooking or anything. He always had some reason, and it ended up always on me. He started playing video games and relaxing from getting home until bedtime because he was tired and he was bringing in the money and keeping the roof over everyone's heads, though that wasn't really true. He said he deserved to relax. Then he went out with his friends or brought them back to drink beer and watch loud TV. Then he developed a major attitude with me and encouraged same to kids. They found it funny. He started openly disrespecting me and encouraged them to. He was the ultimate fun dad, and I got put in the role of the mean witch. Sometimes they all ganged up on me and mocked me, but also all expected me to serve them and constantly be jumping up to care for them. By the end of the first year, I realized the marriage was a big mistake, but felt guilty leaving because of my promises to the kids. Another year went by, and I realized that no matter how I tried, and how I knew they were only kids and didn't really blame them, I genuinely hated both of the kids. And I could not lie to myself anymore and pretend that I loved them. I did not, and I never would. One day, I just walked out, packed up everything of mine and moved out while nobody was at home. I left a note explaining it wasn't working and saying goodbye. That was the end. Cue the crap storm for my ex and a bitter divorce. But we both walked away with what we went into the marriage with, not much for either of us. I had never legally adopted the kids, so I had no rights nor responsibilities about them, and I never reached out to any of them again. Honestly, I was just overjoyed to be rid of all of them. 15 years have gone by, and that seems like a lifetime ago, or another person's life, but I'm still in my 30s. I was recently shocked to get a message from Tamara, Will's daughter, now 25. Tamara said I betrayed and traumatized her for life for abandoning them after my promises to them. She said I had a responsibility to never leave no matter what. I know she remembers the horrible way she treated me though. Now for the top comments. Not day hall. There is never a responsibility to never leave. That is ridiculous. Sure, a 10-year-old may reasonably think so, but a 25-year-old should know better. Agreed. I was bitter when my mother left and divorced my stepdad when I was 10. As an adult, I realized that he was a guy who refused to get a job and just sat around the house all day. But he would leave for work in the morning as I was getting ready for school to keep up appearances. The father probably brainwashed the kids with made-up stuff. Brainwashed or not, this woman is 25, not 15. She should have enough perspective to realize that the fault lies completely with the father. At some point, a person has to look inward and seek help for their trauma, not inflict it on others. To seek out a person you haven't seen 15 years just to send them a nasty email saying, oh, we should have stayed in a horrible relationship for 10 to 12 years, purely for this woman's benefit? That is extremely selfish and cruel. Not day-hole. Your husband didn't want a wife. He chose a younger woman and whisked her off her feet to be his live-in maid, nanny, and cook. He knew what he was doing when he asked you to make that promise to the kids, emotionally manipulating you into staying even though he treated you like crap. It's sad that the children lost their mother, but their father encouraging them to treat you like the evil stepmom was cruel to both you and them. Clearly, the behavior he showed continued after left. And he kept telling Tamara and her brother how awful you were. You got yourself out of there. Well done for being strong and wise enough to do so. Many people don't have the strength to do that. And you need to stay out of there, Opie. Not your circus, not your monkeys. You made a promise, but a promise is made with agreement/conditions usually from both parties. You didn't hold up your end because they were relentless with their bullying. Not today, Holopi. Messaged her back and explained it was a toxic marriage, that their dad set you up to be the family punching bag and nanny, that he wasn't looking for love or a partner, but a doormat, and he encouraged you kids to do the same. Tell her their hang-ups are their own, and then say that you are done with that chapter of your life, and will never again allow their father to drag your life down. Not today, Ho. Those kids have been fed lies and delusions about what the marriage was like. Next story is titled, Am I the a-hole for digging my heels in with my fiancé concerning surname? My fiancé, 27 female and I 30 male, are getting married next year. I've pretty much let her run the show when it comes to the wedding and reception. Her last name is from her biological father who left when she was 2. Her mother remarried, and she has said for years that she can't wait to get married to change it. For 6 years, I've heard about what a piece of garbage this guy is. I am the last male to carry my name, and there are only 4 people with a name. So it's always been important to me to pass it on to my children. She wants to get married in a Catholic church. I'm not Catholic, but it means a lot to her, so I'm in the process of converting. She wanted to be close to her mom and sister, so I left a job I loved, found a new job, and we moved 4 hours away from my family to be closer to them. Her sister is a recovering alcoholic, so we don't keep liquor in our apartment despite that I like to have a beer after work. I've made many changes to accommodate her. She's acknowledged it, and I always respond that all I care about is passing my name on, and she responds with a number of days until our wedding. Shortly after we arrived, Biodad contacted her out of the blue. He heard from relatives she was getting married and decided it was the perfect time to reconnect. All of a sudden, I now hear what a wonderful guy Paul is, how hard he's trying, and how wonderful it is that he's back. Often, I get home from work and she's gone, only to arrive home past midnight after being out with Paul and her half-siblings. I hate that I don't see her as much, but I know how much it means to her to have a relationship with him. At the same time, after years of hearing her trash him, I'm not even allowed to think bad thoughts about him. She's planning on having him walk her down the aisle, which I don't think is appropriate, but it's her decision. This weekend was the bombshell. She told me that her father brought up the importance of their name, that she's decided to keep it. This stung very badly. I replied that it was her choice. I just wanted to pass my name down. She smiled uncomfortably and informed me that she wanted the first boy to carry her name because it would mean so much to Daddy. I told her that is not happening. She suggested that we hyphenate as a compromise. I told her that there was no negotiation, that I had one thing that was important to me. I'd moved heaven and earth to give her what she needed and everything else, but I wouldn't budge an inch on this. She told me I was being unreasonable. I responded that I've been in her life longer than he has. I'd ask her who it was she was trying to start a life with, me or him. She started crying and accused me of being jealous of her relationship with her father. My parents and her mom and stepdad agree with me and think she's allowing Paul to influence her. Her sister thinks I was an A for asking that question and refusing to compromise. Not today, Hall. Not gonna read other comments. Staying out till midnight with your mostly estranged father after years of hating him is also freaking weird. You are not a hole, but unfortunately you also can't force her to change her name. Use this as a time to evaluate your relationship. Perhaps couples counseling would be a good idea before saying your I do's. Good luck. Clarification. Well, I would love if she took it, and it hurt to know she's decided not to after 6 years of saying she wanted to change her name. I've never tried to force it. I accepted it as her decision. I only put my foot down when it came to our future children. Then you deserve better. She changed the game at the last minute. Info. What kind of compromises has she made for you? What kind of changes has she made for you? Honestly, she hasn't had to make any. Believe it or not, 90% of things, we're in complete agreement. The things I've compromised on are things that I was willing to do to make her life easier. She wanted to live closer to her family. My parents are retiring within 10 years and likely leaving that area. So staying there didn't make a lot of sense other than I really liked my job and the people I worked with. I don't hate my current job, but it's not the same. I love the girl. The girl wants to live here. I go with the girl. I felt like taking my name was equivalent because while it's a big change, she knew it was important to me. So as of now, she's made no compromises or changes. Next story. Am I the a-hole for publicly telling my stepdad to buzz off after he complained about being excluded from the speech I wrote for my brother's funeral? My stepdad is an attention-seeking person. Did I say attention-seeking? As the saying goes, he is the bride/groom at every wedding and a corpse at every funeral. Can't help himself and has no issue showing how much he craves for attention. I've never been on good terms with him. He sold my childhood home and threw away stuff Dad left for me and my brother, who is 19. He convinced Mom to revoke my college fund and use it to renovate their new house, resulting in me moving out at 17. I'm now 26. My brother was still living with them when he passed. He suffered from physical/mental conditions that my stepdad called fake. My brother was diagnosed with stomach illness that landed him in the hospital a few times. But my stepdad insisted he was faking it to get attention, and so didn't help with money, so Mom ended up selling jewelry to help my brother. Then he passed away 2 months later. The funeral was last week. I was so devastated because I've always been close with my brother and had plans to do so much in the future. But going by Uncle's advice, I decided to write a speech, sort of like a goodbye letter to my brother as a closure for me, because I had so much to say but so little time. I gave it a speech at the funeral. These moments felt long and pretty heavy. I went back to sit and had people pat on my shoulder trying to comfort me. But my stepdad approached me and openly asked why I didn't mention him anywhere in my long, detailed speech. I was speechless and enraged by his offending question that I literally said, "I don't know, because you're not the one who's dead?" He replied that, technically, the funeral is for the living. Then casually went on about how I should have mentioned some of the impact/benefits he had on me and my brother when he came into our life. I harshly reminded him how my mom started selling her jewelry to pay for my brother's medication, while all he did was claim my brother was faking being sick to get attention, called him pathetic to want more attention at the funeral than a departed person, and loudly told him to F off with his pathetic, attention-seeking bullcrap. He looked shocked and saw a number of guests looking at him awkwardly. He argued that I was being utterly disrespectful of him, and that he was generous enough to consider getting my brother a decent headstone. But it wasn't his fault that I refused to have his name on it. My brother and I never changed our last name, and my stepdad somehow wanted his name on my brother's headstone, otherwise he wouldn't pay for it. It turned into an argument, and I demanded to leave and got others involved. He left eventually, but kept telling my whole family about me making a scene and humiliating him out of old spite, and that I was inconsiderate enough of my brother to cause a scene at his funeral, basically turning the family against me. He wants at least a written apology so we could move past this, but I refuse to give him one. Mom wants me to do it as soon as possible. Now for the comments. Not the a-hole in any way, shape, or form. I'm so sorry for the loss of your brother. I have no problem cutting contact with both your stepfather and mother. Your mother allowed your college fund to be revoked? She might as well be dead to me if I was in Opie's position. Not the a-hole. Jesus. Why is your mom with someone who's so cruel to her children? And he wants a written apology? I vote for crapping on his front step and telling him that's all the apology he'll ever see from you. Now for the last story. Am I the a-hole for telling my friend that her getting treated like a doormat is her choice and that I won't do the same? My 27 female partner, Sam, 32 male, and I have been together for about 3 years. Our relationship has always been a little odd from the outside. Sam works 80-plus hours a week as a lawyer at a large firm, while I work as a policy analyst for the government at a nice 37.5 hours a week in comparison. Before we dated, he told me that he wants to work up to being a partner and that would require long hours. I told him that I prioritize work-life balance, even if it means a lower salary. We agreed to date, knowing this about each other. My best friend, Vicky, 27 female, and her boyfriend started dating our first year of uni and have a rocky relationship. The boyfriend cheated on her in our last year of uni and has since been caught cheating again twice. Vicky, against my advice, has chosen to stay with him. Sam recently got a promotion and, as part of the deal, was assigned an assistant. When I met her, I kind of got a vibe that she was crushing on Sam. She was really flirty and very attentive to Sam, which he pointed out to me first. He said that he'd still keep her on as assistant, but he would make sure nothing got out of hand. I wasn't concerned, because I've never had a reason to worry that he would cheat on me. One night, Vicky and I got dinner and later decided to go back to my place. Sam's office is in between the restaurants we were at in my apartment building, So I offered to go drop off some food for him. I asked Vicky if it was okay if we stopped, and she agreed. When we got to his floor, he was working in a glass-paneled room alone with his assistant. I didn't think much of it, dropped off the food and left. I also want to add that there were lots of other people in the office. As soon as we left, Vicky asked if that was the assistant that I thought had a crush on Sam. I said yes, that they often work late together. She got angry at me, saying that I was treating this like a joke, and that if I want to keep my man, I have to stake my claim, or something. I explained to her that I wasn't worried that he would cheat and that I trusted him. Vicky told me that she was certain that he was cheating and that I should force him to ask for a different assistant. I was getting kind of annoyed, but it got worse when she said, amongst other things, that Sam knows he can't cheat on me and I'd let him because he makes more money than me. So he doesn't need to respect me because he pays more. Sam's salary is around 3 times mine, although I have an okay salary myself, $85,000, and don't need him for money. We split bills percentage-wise, so I pay less than he does, but it's equitable and we agreed on it. I told Vicky that just because she's okay being treated like a doormat doesn't mean I am. And that if Sam cheated on me, I would leave him as respect is essential in a relationship. I also said that she had no place offering relationship advice considering her boyfriend is a serial cheater, and they fought all the time. That if she wanted to keep complaining to me, I should start charging her. It was mean, and I feel really bad about it now. And she hasn't talked to me since. So, am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. She's projecting. And she insisted on being rude while refusing to drop it when you disagreed politely the first time. Exactly this. She can't trust her partner because he had cheated many times, and therefore doesn't understand that other people can have trusting relationships. Not the a-hole. Congratulations for being in a mature relationship where you aren't paranoid about your significant other banging everything in sight. That's a great place to be, and you weren't wrong to tell her to cut the analysis. She stepped way over the line. That being said, it might not hurt to reach out and try to soften what you said. Unfortunately, sometimes the truth hurts, and you put it on her pretty good. Not the a-hole. How someone like that could dish out any kind of relationship advice, let alone advice about cheating, absolutely baffles me.